Alright, this is another Final Fantasy VII, and this can also be Crisis Core 2 if you don't count the flashbacks of Final Fantasy VII. And it's gonna, what happens is this is after the Nibelheim burned, when Nibelheim burned to the ground. And this was really impactful because Zack thought of Sephiroth as a best friend after, Angeal and Genesis, disappeared, so, not disappeared, died. Well, supposedly Genesis died, but Angeal's gone, so, he was getting closer to Sephiroth, but then Sephiroth turned around and did all this mess after he found out about himself. So it was pretty, it was a pretty impactful battle. And besides the emotions that were with this, the battle itself is epic. It's almost as good as a Dragon Ball Z battle with Goku versus Frieza. I think I think one of the best battles was Zack versus Sephiroth because things were real. Things were getting. That moment on Star Wars Episode 3 when Obi-Wan Kenobi has to fight Anakin at the end of it? It was kind of like that. It was, people, both Zack and Sephiroth were playing for keeps, so this was, a real battle. This is one of the other reasons why I love Final Fantasy VII. This was like, I don't even know how impactful. And the battle scene was just epic. I could go on hours and hours, but I don't want to waste YouTube time, so I'm going to have to put number 5 as Zack versus Sephiroth. You will pay. Alright, you've seen this coming. This is another Final Fantasy VII completion on this list. You saw this coming. Yes, I'm a huge Final Fantasy VII fan. This one doesn't get as much. This is like Dyne versus Barret. It doesn't get much, talked about or discussion. But Chaos Vincent, not just Chaos Vincent, Vincent Valentine, all his battles with Vice the Accumulator. And if you play Dirge of Cerberus online, you'll figure out actually Vice and Nero are actually Vince's half brothers. But imagine having a half brother who's an evil emperor trying to take over the whole world, and you have to stop him. Imagine the responsibility you had to do because of your father's script. And yes, by the way, thanks Grimoire Valentine. Thank you. But nonetheless, that was a good one. Besides the fact that they're half brothers, it was a really good battle. I think this battle itself, besides the Dirge of Cerberus game itself, gave Vincent the keys to being the next hero. Being the next hero after Cloud. Like Cloud, it was a battle that made Cloud pass the torch to Vincent to being the hero that ends the saga. And you know what? I'd say that's the best way for him to become the next hero. But anyways, yeah. This battle right here, it was epic. The battle was good. All of the battles all together of Vincent Valentine versus Vice the Accumulator. And this was a perfect way to pass the torch now to a new generation and to end the Final Fantasy VII saga. So yeah, number 4 is going to be Vincent Valentine versus Vice the Accumulator. Okay, now this is another everyone's favorite Final Fantasy that isn't 7. And this one is your whole party in Final Fantasy VI versus Kefka. And the reason why this is, these people were fighting to save the world. Well, the world got destroyed, but this time to save, to save the universe. Since Kefka destroyed the world successfully, but only his tower stayed, they were fighting to save the universe from Kefka and his madness. And the reason why this is a good fight, they were fighting for their lives. Because, the Kefkas, is just as crazy as the Joker. He is he's the Final Fantasy equivalent of the Joker. And we all know that Kefka needs to be stopped, because if Kefka don't be stopped, man, the universe would go. So this was needed. This is where you put your all into everything in this one. This was the fate of the world, man. You know, the fate of the universe. So yeah, I'd say your party, Terra and her party versus Kefka on the number 3 list. You knew this was coming. This is from another Final Fantasy 13. Well, 13-2 to be exact. And I'm not doing this over fanboys, so don't even put that in the comments. This one's gonna be a very serious one right here. It's gonna be it's from 13-2. Sarah, Noel versus Kais. And the reason why I say that, this was a big battle. I mean, for newer Final Fantasy games, this was a really epic battle. Like, newer Final Fantasy games do have been disappointed with, you know, with final battles, but this one was a really good battle. And yes, it was impactful because Kais is trying to save Yule from Etrol's curse, but you know, Etrol's a bitch because she keeps putting it where Yule dies every time she sees the future, so it pretty much made Kais dark and evil, and you know, and the fact that Kais was also Noel's mentor, so Noel had to fight Kais, his own mentor, to save the world. And imagine if he had to face the person that taught you everything and taught you everything about fighting yourself. Imagine you have to face your old sensei and battle again. You know, of course, I can't really blame Kais because he lived at the time where it was the end of days, so I could see why he would be what he is. But this was really impactful, and this, like, just like Kefka, this was the battle for the universe, because Kais was planning to mess up time itself if it was to save Yule, because if he kills Etrol, you know, that would make it where time doesn't flow. And why Valhalla time doesn't flow, because he killed Lightning, because Lightning is the new Etrol. But killing Etrol would put balance of life and death, you know, out of balance. So but pretty much it would put the whole world at balance, all to save you. So, and the battle itself was epic. Not only do you get to fight him in his regular forms with his you know, paragram changing, but you also got to fight his Jet Bahamut, Chaos Bahamut, and you had to fight him 4 times in the game. And this was the final battle. This was actually the final battle that you had to fight him 4 times. So you better level yourself up, man, before you get ready for this battle. Level yourself up, because even if you get to your highest level, when you get to Jet Bahamut, that's where shit has to get real. Everything has to get real. No holding back. So I'd say number 2, Sarah Noel versus Kais battle.
Kill me, not now.
Ready?
Together now.
I only ever knew the one you... That was enough.
You don't have to cry. We will meet again.
She was smiling when she died. She believed in the future. She knew we'd meet again. Think, Caius, think. Was it really a curse? Was it forced on her by Etro? Do you really think that Yule wanted to die and not come back?
You knew this was coming as number one, as the Final Fantasy VII fanboy I am. You knew this was coming. The best battle of all Final Fantasy would have to be every fight your party did with Sephiroth, plus Cloud's and Sephiroth's final battle. First of all, you had to face two of Sephiroth's ultimate forms, Reverse Sephiroth and Safer Sephiroth, which Sephiroth has the power to shoot the sun at you, and he could do it twice and really mess up your party. I gotta say, you have to level the freak up, level up like it's nobody's business before fighting Sephiroth, because he is gonna be really hard, especially in Safer mode. Safer Sephiroth, stock up on your hero drinks, stock up on your stuff, get your ultimate weapon before you do this fight. You know. Get your good summons out for this one. Not only because the battle's epic with your party, and you have to fight with both your parties, not just one. You have to fight with both your parties and a two team of parties when you fight for Reverse Sephiroth. Then after you beat Reverse Sephiroth, you have to fight your hardest against Safer Sephiroth, because he's going to use really powerful attacks to get rid of your thing. So the battle itself in this one, I'd actually equate to, you know, Goku versus the Z Warriors versus Frieza. Now, besides that, after Safer Sephiroth is beaten, everyone thought Sephiroth was beaten. Like, everyone thought Sephiroth died, but then Cloud could sense, and it sensed through the live stream that Sephiroth was still alive and wasn't going to give up. Sephiroth was like, "Oh, I'm going to get you now." Now, Sephiroth was enraged. That's why you see his eyes go up when Cloud comes to the live stream for one final face-off. For one final face-off against, you know, all odds. For one final face-off right here. And what's so awesome about that battle? What makes that battle awesome with Cloud versus Sephiroth at the end of it? It's also the fact that they gave it their all, and you get to see for the first time Cloud use Omni Slash and put the battle to the end. And just like Kefka and Caius, this was for the fate of the universe, because Sephiroth was going to go out to the universe. This was for the fate of the universe, so he had to put Sephiroth out on this one. I know you fangirls don't like that, but Sephiroth had to be defeated. You know, and it was good because they finally got, you know, satisfaction and revenge for Aeris, because he killed Aeris, and that was very impactful. So I was glad Sephiroth got his long due ass whooping at the end of it, but nonetheless, it was for the fate of the universe too. Basically, if I could compare Cloud's final battle, where there's just only him and Cloud, it'd be like Goku versus Frieza, you know, the final battle, of course. And the final round of Ichigo versus Aizen, where Aizen threw all his cards at the table and still can't beat Ichigo. It was the same thing. Sephiroth threw all his cards but couldn't beat Cloud's Omni Slash, and then Cloud saved the world and hooked up with Tifa and had the best ending of Final Fantasy VII ever. Midgar still got destroyed, but nobody important died, of course. But Sephiroth was finished until Advent Children and he came back, but you know, if you discounted Advent Children, this was a happy ending because Sephiroth was defeated and destroyed. And at the end of the end scene of Sephiroth's at the end scene where Sephiroth gets defeated, you see him explode. And that's why I compared it with the Dragon Ball Z battle, because you see him blood all over and explode. If they ever do a remake, they have to have the blood and explosions for Sephiroth after being defeated. That would do it justice. But for number one, Cloud, Strife and his party versus Sephiroth as the final battle. And